this, my answer is the same to everything. Drink Armagnac, it'll cure the pain.
Yeah.
That's a nice
Yeah.
25-year-old. It's very smooth. Or if you like more of a bourbon, I've got a double oak barrel.
Yeah, she doesn't drink, Mike.
It doesn't matter. It's just medicine. What are you
Medicine.
drinking in your cold medicine?
It's
There's
medical.
90% alcohol. Read
Medical.
the ingredient.
So funny. All right, everybody. Good morning. Thank you so much for popping in this morning. We've got some numbers today. Hold on, trying to get rid of that gray. All right, today is May the 6th. We have total active listings, 1,513. Just a couple down from last week, but we are 5% up from last year. Just FYI, this little row here is the average, I'm sorry, the last year's that we're comping against, and the yellow is the average overall of all the numbers. Just want to make sure we understand that. So we're 5% up from this number last year in active listings. Total listings in the last 7 days, we're at 264, which is 12% over last year's number of 235, and just a smidge up from last week. Total pendings, 373. We're 8% up last year's number of 344. And we're up quite a bit from last week, from 345 to 373. Total sold, huge swing. And I'm sure it's because of these numbers here, like what we saw get listed, new listings in before the Easter weekend. And then what we've been seeing here, even though that number is weird, I think that's the holiday. So we're 24% up over last year. 220 sold last week versus 178 this same week last year. 42 average days on market. That doesn't surprise me. Like we saw, when you look at these average days on market here coming down and getting smaller back into the 40s. I think what shocks me the most is that our spring market here actually hit in spring versus like January, February. Usually in that whopping 8 years that I've been a realtor, what I've seen is that the spring market hits and pops in January and February. I did save the listing so we could take a look at this one. I thought it'd be funny. This average is very tweaked because we had a $5 million property sell in Moon Township last week. I was reading about this. This used to be the corporate retreat for Bayer. And so when you look at this house, there's a pool, there's conference rooms, and like the kitchen even looks almost like a hotel. So it's got conference rooms, all kinds of meeting rooms, banquet rooms, things like that. And it has multiple other properties, a little corporate house, as well as a couple other outbuildings on this 32-acre property out in Moon, which is our friend Allie's home place. Shout out Moon. Anyway, I thought y'all would find that interesting. So that's why it tweaked our number here up to 357, 422. The other listings were kind of normal, what we've been seeing lately in the ones, 1.8, 1.5, 1.0, and then a lot of 8s and 9s. There were 434 price reductions last week, which is just a smidge down from the week before. Excuse me. I need to breathe. We are seeing what really relates to this number here. See how we see the average days on market go down? This goes up in relation to that because they're selling quicker and they're selling for full price. This is showing us they're selling for over full price. So this week, 100.51% sales price to list price ratio. So it was listed for 200,000 and it may be sold for 201,000 or something like that. That's where you get that wonky 0.5. We are seeing some expireds right now, 167. That's a big jump over last week, and it's a huge jump over last year. This time last year, there were 58 expireds, and we have 167. So great opportunity for those of you that like to chase those expireds. We have just 6 fewer than last year in the MLS at 8,694, and the interest rate did go down a smidge back into the lower sevens at 7.375. Any questions? Does anybody have any updates on how they're seeing things and what's going on in your neighborhood? Speaking of neighborhood, my trainer this morning told me I was Mr. Rogers. Because I come in one pair of sneakers and I go back into the little sitting area and I change into my gym sneakers, and she called me Mr. Rogers this morning. I'm not gonna complain about that. There are worse things to be called at 7 a.m. on a Monday morning. I'm just saying.
There definitely are. There are worse things.
There are definitely worse things. Any other questions? How did everybody's weekend go?
Good.
Good. I have a pet peeve.
What?
Because y'all know I like to fuss about certain things. I had 2 things happen last week. One, an agent went into my listing and left the basement door open, letting the seller's 2 cats out.
You told us about that.
Okay, so that was the week before. All right, this weekend on my $855,000 listing, an agent booked a showing and did not cancel it and no showed on an occupied property. An occupied property. So not only does that make you as the listing agent look foolish when the seller's like, hey, do you have any feedback? How did it go? I'm like, oh, they no showed. Like, it makes us all
Look bad.
terrible. And it was like 3 hours after the showing when I realized that my little alert didn't go off that someone had accessed the lockbox. And when I messaged him, he's like, oh yeah, my buyer bailed on me. So I spent the afternoon with my senile grandfather. And I was like, are you senile? And he said, no. And I said, it's incredibly unprofessional, especially for an occupied property, to not cancel with notice, some sort of notice. These people clean, they make their beds, they leave the house for an hour. Please, please. You're a buyer's agent and you're going into this market that we have changing with buyer's agency this summer, and you can't do that. You will go in my book of dead agents in my brain. Do you know what I'm saying? If I see his name on a contract ever, do y'all feel me on that?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do.
Please, please. There are so many easy things to do right in this business. There's so many things to do wrong, but there's so many easy things to do right in this business. Watch your appointments and make sure you cancel if you can't make it. Even if it's at the last minute, at least
Yes.
the sellers don't have to leave. So that's my pet peeve. Well, great seeing yins.
Oh, since we're all here, it's real quick, because I didn't realize the 9th is like Thursday. What is the role for Thursday? Like, what are we doing?
Allie's frozen. Can anybody else speak for the team?
What do you mean? Like, where's it taking place?
No, I know it's at the farm.
Oh.
Like, what time are we meeting? What do we need? Like,
Was there something in the newsletter for this week?
It's 9:30 to 2, 9:30 to 2. Can you hear me?
Now
yeah.
we can.
Okay, yep, 9:30 to 2, like every year. We'll have little breakfast stuff and lunch from vendors. The garden has most of the equipment. I mean, it's
Okay.
no different than years past. We just show up and see what they need us to do. If you want your own gardening stuff, certainly bring it, but otherwise, I always just use what the farm has.
Can I jump in here and say that number one, we do generate quite a bit of trash. So and they'll usually bring waters and stuff, but if you can bring like a reusable water bottle, if you have one, please bring one. I would also encourage, I don't know what the weather looks like, but bring sunscreen. Slather up before, right after you get out of your car, before you head on up, or bring a little bag that holds all your stuff. And a hat maybe, depending upon the, you know, the sun and what your tolerance level is. We've had
65% chance of rain. So scratch the hat and bring an umbrella and a poncho.
OMG.
Now it's Pittsburgh. That could change at any minute, but yeah.
Alrighty. And
That's what-
FYI, Deanna, it is in the newsletter. It's all in yellow.
I don't even get, I didn't see the newsletter, so.
I'm gonna forward it to you just for tickles and grins. Anything else? Okay. Thank you for showing, as always. Have a wonderful week. Bianca.
Everybody, see you in a few. I said, see you in a few.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
What did you say?
I'll see you tomorrow, yeah?
I thought
No.
it said Wednesday.
We are Wednesday, I lied. Okay.
I still have to pick a place, but I will.